Coming up on this episode, I talk about how most of us know what we need to do to progress in life. We just avoid it because more often than not it's uncomfortable. But that doesn't have to mean that it's something that we avoid or something that we don't push through in life. So let's get into it. What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Perspective Chasers podcast, and I'm your host, John. On this episode, I want to talk about how most people know what they need to do in life. For the most part, we just avoid it. Because normally the things that you need to do to grow are the things that you find most difficult. Like, there's very little going to be gained from doing something you find easy. So it's always in that uncomfortable zone where you're going to get your growth. But by definition, uncomfortable isn't nice. So you always need to mediate how much you need to, or how much you put yourself through and how far you push yourself. Some of us are better than that than others. I've pushed myself to the point of exhaustion many times. So it is something that I'm definitely still learning. But it doesn't mean that you can't get anything done and you can't slowly improve over time. Like, a lot of people seem to believe that everything just clicks into place at once, when realistically it slowly adapts over time. So giving it that time to change and for you to learn different things and for you to get stronger in different areas, that's going to be the key to continual growth. But it happens slowly, so give it that time. There's always going to be that sense of belief in which that if you don't believe you're capable of doing it, you're not going to put in the effort to do it in the first place. So you need that spark of belief in yourself, in whatever your ventures are. If you believe you're capable of doing it, you'll start taking the actions that will get you there. But you have to have that spark of belief in yourself. And for some people to get that spark, it isn't easy. But if you nurture it, if you give yourself the time, if you sit with yourself and listen to yourself, you'll find out what you need to do. Because you'll find out what scares you, what makes you uncomfortable, what you find difficult. That's where you'll find your growth. And again, it's not to put yourself in dangerous situations or anything like that. It's to be conscious of what you're doing. And like, how many of us live the same day time and time again? And I'm guilty of this too. We get up, we do a couple of things that we have to do each day, chores or whatever it is. Then we go to work, come back, see the kids or do this or do that. Like, whatever the routine is, it's very repetitive and realistically it doesn't challenge us. Even if it's like, oh, I want to go out and have some fun, chances are you'll default to the same thing that you do for fun all the time instead of trying something new, because we get complacent, and that complacency just breeds staleness. And again, I'm guilty of it time and time again in my life. Like, we get stuck in these cycles, we get stuck in these loops, and for many different reasons. Like, sometimes it's just a guaranteed hit of endorphins and we're like, I know if we do this, or I know if I listen to this song or see this person, I'm going to have fun and feel good or whatever else. So then we don't look any further than that. But then you don't grow any further than that. So you've always got to kind of see where you're challenging yourself in life. And again, moderate the challenge. It's not to say that you have to push yourself to the absolute edge every day of life. No. Like, you end up just breaking yourself. Mediate it, see what you can handle, give yourself a day off, like, look back over what you've grown from what you've done, and give yourself the time to see where you're going, where you've been, and where you want to go. And listen to yourself. Again, like, the whole idea of this episode is, you know what you need to do in order to progress in life, but it makes you uncomfortable. So you're avoiding it and you're making excuses, or you're doing other things that are kind of parallel to it but not quite it. And that's enough for you to convince yourself that you're doing enough or you're doing something towards your goal. But really and truly, if you used to sit with yourself, you'll hear what you're avoiding. You'll hear the things that you don't need to do. And again, I do it too. I've got many things that I need to fix up, and I know what I'm avoiding. That's why I can sit here and tell you how it feels and what to do to get out of it. And it's a slow process. At least it is for me. Like, but if we don't talk about these things, if we just let everybody assume that everything clicks into place overnight and life is easy and this, that, and everything else, we're all putting up a mask and playing a false game. There's nothing to be gained from that. Like, there's times in my life that I could very much use some advice and guidance and there was no one there. But it doesn't have to be the same for everybody. If there's people that are willing to share advice and put guidance out, and I mean, these days we have access to more information faster than ever before. So we should be sharing genuine information and growing and developing faster than ever before. We can talk to anybody around the world. So if you want to challenge yourself in any field, there's somebody out there that is going to be able to go toe to toe with you and challenge what you're made of. Whether it be in an educational field, in a physical field, in a gaming field, whatever it is, there's somebody out there in the world that will challenge you. And we have the ability to access them or to interact with them. So go do it. Challenge yourself and grow. You know what it is you need to do. So go and do it. Stop avoiding it. Stop making the excuses, because that's not going to bring no change. And if you know who you can truly become, why not put every effort into making it? Again, you're going to have to take your breaks. It's going to be exhausting. You're going to feel fatigued. You're going to feel lost. But it doesn't mean you don't do it. Have that belief in yourself. Ignite that spark and fan the flames. And eventually that belief, that action will get you to where you want to go. But it all starts with you believing in yourself. Believe that you're worth it and start from there. Start small and build up. Trust me, that is enough. But we spend our lives being told that we need these big feats and we convince ourselves that we need a lot to correct. But the corrections start small. Start with what you're capable of and go from there. Build up the strength, build up the tolerances, and you'll get there. Give yourself time. I'm going to wrap the episode up there, but the seed for this episode is going to be sit with yourself and take the 5 closest people to you and ask yourself what you'd say to them in the last conversation you ever have with them. Everything that would go unsaid, everything that you'd want them to know about who you are and how you thought of them and how you feel about them. And really think about it. Take the time to think how these people have affected your life and how you've affected theirs. And then see if you can have that conversation with them, because you never know how long somebody's going to be in your life. And if it's somebody close to you, somebody that you find valuable, why hesitate to tell them that? All the best, and I'll catch you on the next one.